Have you ever wondered how someone could rise from the darkest streets to become the most feared man on the planet, only to lose everything and then fight his way back again? Today, I want to share the incredible life journey of Mike Tyson, a story that isn't just about boxing. It's about pain, anger, redemption, and finding purpose after losing almost everything. Mike Tyson was born on June 30, 1966, in Brooklyn, New York. From the very beginning, life wasn't kind to him. He grew up in one of the toughest neighborhoods in America, surrounded by poverty, violence, and crime. His father wasn't around, and his mother struggled to provide for the family. Every day felt like a battle just to survive. As a young boy, Mike was shy and often bullied. Many people find that hard to believe because the world later came to know him as the most intimidating boxer of his generation. But before he became Iron Mike, he was just a scared kid trying to find his place in a world that seemed determined to break him. Without guidance or stability, Mike began getting into trouble. He was arrested many times as a teenager and spent time in juvenile detention centers. At that point, almost everyone believed he was headed toward a lifetime of crime. Few people could have imagined that the same teenager would one day become the heavyweight champion of the world. Everything changed when he met legendary boxing trainer Cus D'Amato. Cus didn't just teach Mike how to throw punches. He taught him discipline, confidence, and self-belief. More importantly, he believed in Mike when almost nobody else did. Cus often told Mike that fear exists in everyone, but champions learn how to control it instead of letting it control them. Those lessons transformed Mike's life. Under Cus's guidance, he trained harder than anyone else. Every morning started with miles of running, followed by endless hours of boxing drills, strength training, and studying the sport. Mike wasn't simply building muscles, he was building a new future. As his skills improved, people began talking about a young fighter unlike anyone they had ever seen. His speed was unbelievable, his power was terrifying. Opponents who had trained for months were knocked out within seconds. Every fight made his legend grow. Then came 1986. At just 20 years old, Mike Tyson defeated Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. That record still stands today. Watching him fight felt almost unreal. He wasn't just winning matches, he was dominating some of the toughest fighters in the world. Soon, Tyson unified the heavyweight titles and became the undisputed heavyweight champion. His name became known across the globe. Crowds filled arenas just to watch him fight. Millions tuned in on television because they knew that whenever Mike Tyson stepped into the ring, history could happen in a matter of seconds. But success doesn't always protect you from pain. One of the biggest heartbreaks in Mike's life came when Cus D'Amato passed away before he could witness the full greatness of the champion he had helped create. Mike often described Cus as more than a trainer, he was like a father. Losing him left a hole that could never truly be filled. As fame and fortune grew, so did the pressure. Mike became one of the richest athletes in the world, earning hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet behind the championships and expensive lifestyle, he was struggling. The discipline that had once defined him slowly began to disappear. The 1990 fight against Buster Douglas shocked the entire world. Tyson entered the ring undefeated and was expected to win easily. Instead, he suffered one of the biggest upsets in sports history. For the first time, the unbeatable champion had been defeated. But, even greater challenges were still ahead. In the early 1990s, Mike was convicted of rape. He maintained his innocence, but he served about 3 years in prison. That period remains one of the most controversial chapters of his life. Regardless of differing views on the case, it dramatically changed both his career and his public image. When he returned to boxing, people wondered whether the old Mike Tyson still existed. For a while, he captured world titles again, reminding everyone of his incredible talent. But the sport had changed, and so had Mike. Then came one of the most unforgettable moments in boxing history, the 1997 rematch with Evander Holyfield. During the fight, Tyson bit Holyfield's ear, leading to his disqualification. The incident became international news and overshadowed many of his achievements. It was a painful reminder that even the greatest athletes can make decisions they later regret. Outside the ring, Mike faced another devastating problem. Despite earning hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career, poor financial decisions, legal expenses, and extravagant spending eventually left him bankrupt. Imagine going from being one of the richest athletes in the world to struggling financially. It was a humbling experience that forced him to rethink his life. As if that weren't enough, Mike also experienced heartbreaking personal losses, including the tragic death of his young daughter, Exodus, in 2009. No amount of fame, money, or championships could ease that pain. It was one of the darkest moments of his life. But this is the part of Mike Tyson's story that inspires me the most. Instead of allowing his past to define him forever, he slowly began rebuilding his life. He became more open about his mistakes, his anger, and his struggles with mental health and addiction. Rather than pretending to be perfect, he chose honesty. People started seeing a different side of Mike Tyson. The man who once terrified opponents now spoke about forgiveness, healing, and personal growth. Through interviews, podcasts, books, and public appearances, he showed that real strength isn't only about throwing the hardest punch, it's about having the courage to change. In 2020, at the age of 54, Tyson returned to the ring for an exhibition fight against Roy Jones Jr. Fans around the world were amazed by his fitness and determination. Although it wasn't an official professional bout, it reminded everyone why Mike Tyson remains one of boxing's biggest legends. Today, Mike Tyson's legacy is far more complex than simply being a heavyweight champion. He represents the highs and lows of human life. His story teaches us that talent alone isn't enough. Discipline matters. The people we surround ourselves with matter. The choices we make matter. What moves me most about Mike Tyson isn't that he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. It's that after experiencing unimaginable success, devastating failure, public controversy, financial collapse, and personal tragedy, he kept searching for a better version of himself. His journey reminds us that nobody's life is perfect. We all make mistakes. We all face losses. But our past doesn't have to decide our future. Every day gives us another opportunity to stand back up, learn, and keep moving forward. And maybe that's the greatest victory Mike Tyson has ever achieved. Not the championship belts, not the knockouts, not the fame, but proving that even after life's hardest punches, it's still possible to rise again.